You woke up this morning with a full schedule. Emails, meetings, deadlines, notifications, things to do, places to be, people waiting on you. And somewhere in the middle of all of it, you probably thought, I just want a day off. Now imagine getting that day off forever. No job, no schedule, no alarm clock, no boss, no deadlines, no bills, no emails, nothing. Just you and the entire day, stretching out in front of you with absolutely nothing required. That sounds incredible, right? That was every single day for ancient humans. For 95% of human history, there were no jobs, no careers, no offices, no schedules, no Monday mornings, just people and time, and a world with no demands on how they spent it. So what did they actually do? The answer is not what you expect. And by the time we are done, you are going to look at your own life, your own time, and your own boredom in a completely different way. Let's go back, not 100 years, not 1,000 years, 300,000 years ago. A small group of early humans, 20 to 30 people. Somewhere in East Africa, no alarm clock went off, no notification pinged, no one had anywhere to be. They woke up when the sun rose. That was it. That was the entire morning schedule. And then what? The first thing they did every single morning was the same thing you do. They looked for food. But here's the part that will shock you. It did not take very long. For decades, researchers assumed ancient humans spent most of their waking hours hunting and foraging, struggling, barely surviving, every moment consumed by the desperate search for food. They were wrong. In 1966, anthropologist Marshall Solins published research that changed everything. He had spent years studying the Kungsan people of the Kalahari Desert, one of the last groups on Earth still living the original human lifestyle. What he found was extraordinary. They worked on average 15 to 20 hours per week, not per day, per week. That is roughly 2 to 3 hours per day of actual work, finding food, gathering water, basic maintenance, and then the rest of the day was theirs, completely, totally, with no obligations whatsoever. Solins called them the original affluent society, not because they had things, because they had time. More free time than any modern human gets. More free time than you will probably ever have in your entire life. So what did they do with it? The first thing they did was rest. And not the guilty kind of rest modern humans do. Lying in bed checking their phones feeling like they should be doing something. Real rest, deep rest, the kind of rest where your body and mind fully recover. Ancient humans napped in the shade during the hottest part of the day. They sat, they lay down. They did absolutely nothing and felt completely fine about it. Because rest was not laziness in the ancient world. Rest was survival. A rested body hunts better, thinks faster, reacts quicker. And ancient humans knew this instinctively even without any science to explain it. But they did not spend all day resting, because after rest came the thing that ancient humans did more than anything else. They talked. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar spent years studying what humans talk about when they are not talking about anything important. His finding was extraordinary. Roughly 65% of all human conversation is social gossip. Who did what? Who said what? What happened to someone you both know? This sounds like a waste of time. It was the most important thing ancient humans did, because Dunbar discovered that language itself did not evolve for practical communication. It evolved for social bonding. Before language, primates bonded by grooming each other physically. But grooming is one-to-one. You can only groom one friend at a time. Language replaced grooming. Now you could bond with 10 people at once. A whole group around a fire. You could tell a story about someone who was not even there. You could build trust with people you had never touched. Ancient humans talked for hours every day about nothing important. And that nothing important was actually building the social bonds that kept the group together. The bonds that meant someone would share food with you when you were sick. Someone would watch your back when you slept. Someone would help raise your children when you could not. Gossip built civilization. But talking was not all they did, because ancient humans also played. This surprises people. Adults playing seems like a modern luxury, something you do when all the real work is done. But play is ancient. Play is biological. Play is one of the oldest behaviors in the human repertoire. Ancient adults played games, wrestling, running races, throwing contests, not for prizes, not for status, just because it felt good. Researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer groups found that play was a daily activity for adults, not just children, and play did something critical. It built physical skills that translated directly to survival. A throwing contest was also throwing practice, a wrestling match was also combat training, a running race was was also endurance building. Play was how ancient humans stayed sharp without knowing they were staying sharp. And then there was making things. Ancient humans made things constantly, not because they had to, not because they were being productive, because making things was satisfying in a way that is written into human biology. Someone would spend an afternoon carefully shaping a stone tool, not because they needed that specific tool right now, because the act of making something beautiful and functional felt deeply good. Someone else would weave patterns into a simple rope, adding decorations that served no practical purpose just because they liked the way it looked. The oldest known art object in human history is a 75,000-year-old shell bead found in a cave in South Africa. Someone sat down 75,000 years ago with a shell and carefully drilled a hole through it, threaded it onto a cord, and wore it, not for survival, for beauty, because humans have always made beautiful things when they had the time. And then there was the thing that happened every single evening without fail, around the fire, after the food was found and eaten, after the talking and the playing and the making things. When the sun went down and the fire was lit, everyone gathered and stories were told, not entertainment in the way we think of it today, not escapism. These stories were the living memory of the group. Who were we? Where did we come from? What happened to us? What do we believe about the world? Every question religion has ever asked started around an ancient fire. Every question philosophy has ever asked started around an ancient fire. Why does the sun rise? Where do we go when we die? What is the right way to live? These were not idle questions. These were the most important questions any group of humans could ask, because the answers determined how they treated each other, what they valued, who they were. The stories told around ancient fires were the first laws, the first ethics, the first attempts to make sense of an overwhelming and mysterious world. And the people who told them were not entertainers. They were the most important people in the group, the keepers of everything that made the group human. So here is the complete picture of an ancient human day. Wake with the sun. Spend 2 to 3 hours finding food. Rest deeply in the heat of the day. Talk for hours about nothing and everything. Play games that kept the body sharp. Make things for the pure satisfaction of making them. And as darkness fell, gather around the fire and tell the stories that held the group together. No commute, no inbox, no performance review, no existential dread about career trajectory. Just a human being, fully present in a world that asked nothing more of them than to be alive. And here's the part that should genuinely stop you. Modern psychology has a name for the mental state ancient humans experienced during those long, unhurried days. They call it flow. The state of complete absorption in what you are doing, where time disappears and effort feels effortless. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent decades studying flow and found that humans are at their happiest, most creative, and most alive when they are in it. Ancient humans lived in flow almost constantly because nothing they did was rushed, nothing was measured, nothing had a deadline. They were not more primitive than us. In many ways, they were more present than we will ever be. And here's the final thing. We did not lose this because we had to. We lost it because we chose to. Every convenience that was supposed to give us more time actually gave us more things to fill that time with. The dishwasher did not give us free evenings. It gave us the expectation that free evenings should be filled with something else. The smartphone did not connect us. It gave us 47 apps and a streaming service with 10,000 things to watch, and somehow we are still bored. Ancient humans had nothing, and they were not bored. They were completely, fully, deeply alive in every moment. Because when you have nothing to do, what you actually have is everything. Time, presence, each other, the things that have always mattered, the things that still matter now. If you let them,